Disclaimer, this is not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence before putting your money to work. With that out of the way, let's have some fun and enjoy the episode. What's good, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Rich Off Games podcast. This is episode 20. It's your boy CB checking back in with y'all. Happy Money Mondays. Hope you all had a great weekend. Man, it has been a crazy Monday overall. I don't know if you guys are in the market, but hopefully if you are, you guys saw the craziness that happened this morning when news came out about Trump announcing a delay of attack on Iran, and the market went from going from a continuation to the downside to a reversal to the upside and possibly breaking new levels. So we'll talk about those things here shortly. With that being said, let's get right to it. But before we get right to it, just want to leave a quick reminder on, as you're approaching your day-to-day activities, and anytime you come across something that's considered to be an obstacle, look at it as an opportunity, because it is. It's an opportunity in disguise. You may think that it's a setback or that it's something that's preventing you from seeing the results you want to see, but in reality, it's just something that's helping build characteristics that you need in your journey, on your journey, to further your process and your progress in life. So anything that comes across as somewhat of an obstacle, look at it as an opportunity to get better, to improve your skills, to improve your ability to execute, or to just simply grow into becoming the person that you need to become to receive the results. If you don't feel like you're fulfilling life to the fullest capabilities, it's probably because you're not living in your purpose, and you know you're not living in your purpose. So today we're going to talk about how to live in your purpose. What does living in your purpose mean? Living your purpose isn't really waking up motivated or feeling the best every single day. Simply put, living in your purpose just means being aligned and fully clear on what it is you're doing with your life. It's when skills meets passion meets opportunity, all at the same time. That's what it means to live in your purpose. How can I find my purpose? If I'm someone who's looking for signs or ways to know what it is I'm doing, to know how I can live in my purpose, the first thing I'm going to do is understand that I need to have clarity on my life. I'm going to do a self-evaluation of my overall life and how I show up in life and the things that I do in life, the things that I like, dislike, know about myself, all throughout time of growing and becoming who I am today, in order for me to have the best report of myself and clarity of myself. So I know who I am and what I'm capable of, what my skills are, what my advantages are, what my disadvantages are, what I'm capable of doing, what I'm not capable of doing, my height, my energy levels, how much I sleep, how much I'm up, things that I enjoy doing, the things that I don't enjoy, everything you can think of. I'm doing a self-evaluation test to understand what it is I'm good at. That's the goal. You're getting clarity on the things you're good at so that you can then take action on the things that you're good at. So once you get the clarity and you do the self-evaluation test to get clarity, now you're taking action on the things that you're good at. Because the goal from getting clarity is to get an understanding of what it is you're good at doing and capable of doing that provides enough value to not only you, but others as well. Things that you can add value or attribute to doing for other people who find it valuable. Now you're taking actions necessary to align yourself with the clarity and your purpose. Because clarity is the first step in understanding what it is you're good at, but action taking is the second step in understanding and actually fulfilling the purpose. These things don't happen. You don't fulfill your purpose if you don't take the actions. So you have to be understanding of not only getting the clarity, but you must take the actions necessary in order to fulfill the purpose and live in the purpose. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense. So getting clarity is the first step into understanding what your purpose is, but then taking action is the necessary step in order to fulfilling the purpose. A few things you want to be mindful of while fulfilling your purpose is the type of characteristics that might come about as you are being purposely driven in fulfilling your purpose. The number one thing is you're selfless. Fulfilling purpose isn't for the benefit of you. Fulfilling purpose is for the benefit of others. Your skills and qualities that make you who you are and make you valuable are going to be beneficial for other people. A lot of times we misunderstand that one thing. We think that living in our purpose is beneficial for ourselves. No, that's not the case. Living in our purpose is beneficial for others' benefits. It helps other people grow and advance and get better in life. In return, we get fulfillment from fulfilling the job or the service or the skill that's needed. Whether it be we get paid financially, we get paid spiritually, energetically, however that is, us living in that purpose helps us feel fulfilled. At least I know for me it does. So that's the number one characteristic that most people who are living in purpose have, is that they're selfless. Think about musicians. Musicians make music for other people to hear, and in result to other people hearing that music, they create a community of people who support them for the music that they make. Think about NBA players. They play basketball for entertainment of other people to watch them play, and they create a community of people who are now fans of them. Think about doctors. Doctors go to school for years upon years to learn a skill to help save other people's lives. They're not doing that for themselves. They're doing that for people who don't have the ability to take care of themselves health-wise. They have no knowledge or understanding of what it is, medicine that they need to take, what prescriptions they need to take, what kind of surgery they need, but doctors do. Doctors don't say, hey, I want to be a doctor happily just one day, just cause. No, they do it because they know that that's what they're good at, and that's what God's called them to do. So everybody has a role and a purpose in life. You have to have deep clarity and understanding of who you are, what your skills are, and then you have to take actions necessary in order to fulfill that purpose. And if you don't, then that's totally fine, but don't be confused and curious as to why your life isn't going the way you want it to go. So, if you want to live a purposeful life, you need alignment, clarity, and action taking. If you're someone who's invested into the stock market and you feel like you're having a hard time, it's not just you. It's just that the market's very volatile. So here's how to survive a volatile stock market. If you're a day trader, you want to just stick to what's been working. Don't go out of the range of comfort just to try something new. Stick to what works. Stick to the consistent strategy that you've been showing up with that's been working for you day in and day out, and don't do anything else. Because as a day trader, your number one goal and priority is cash flow. You want to make money day in and day out, rinse and repeat each and every day. You don't want to do anything else other than that. So day traders, stick to the strategies that's been working for you. Don't do anything different from that. Don't deviate from the process just because you want to try something new, because then you're going to knock yourself off of your focus, and now you're going to have inconsistent results. In the inconsistent results, you'll start to see negative results. And as you see negative results, that might affect your ego and your confidence in trading. So then you start to lose, and compound losses. And you don't want that. Now, for my investors, in a volatile market, The only thing you should be doing is really just sitting back and waiting for the right opportunities to present themselves. As for me, when it comes to investing, I normally typically like to wait for deep pullbacks. So if I don't see a deep pullback because the market's not going in a new range, I'm not doing anything until I see a new pullback to a new price. So if the market's volatile but it's not moving like SPY's been doing for the last 5 months, 9 times out of 10, I'm not making any new investments. And I have not made any new investments other than a few investments that I've seen pull back to prices that I like. That's how you want to treat it. You want to treat the market exactly how it needs to be treated. You don't want to try to forcefully look for quality setups in a market where there's no such thing, because there has not been such setups in today's market, simply due to the fact that we've been in the same price range for the last 5 months. So for long-term investors, you want to sit back and wait for the proper opportunities. Don't rush it, because there's no need to rush, because if you rush into a position, all you're going to do is just burn money, because now you're going to be down in a position where you could just waited for the pullback to happen. And now that the actual pullbacks happen, you missed out because you wasted capital on ranges that had no real value. So for my long-term investors, that's what you want to do. For my day traders, that's what you want to do. For my swing traders, in a volatile market, I would probably say stay away from swinging, because a lot of the opportunities that we're seeing in the market are not consistent enough to be comfortable, at least for me, to be comfortable enough to sit in a swing and be confident in this price moving in my direction that I want it to move. For example, today we had the crazy price action move in the pre-market before the market opened, where the market was down going into, for example, SPY was going into 542, closed at 548. So we saw a $6 drop in the pre-market. Then news came out, and that news drove the pre-market up to 565. So we saw a $23 move in the pre-market. Yes, the pre-market, all before the market opened. And had you been in swings over the weekend, you would have been absolutely cooked going into the beginning of this day, because simply due to the fact that the volatility that we're having in the market is not creating enough cushion or good opportunities for swing traders to be comfortable enough to swing trade, at least for me, as I said. So that's what I would recommend doing if you are one of those 3 types of traders in the market like we're having now, which is a very volatile market. And of course, investors, once again, make sure to just hold for long term, because there will be seasons and periods of time where there's a lot of volatility, where there's a lot of selling, there's a lot of buying pressure, selling pressure, etc. You want to be confident in your trades and your investments, and really, really, really just sit back and be patient long enough to see the results. Because if you're holding for extensions of time where you're waiting for larger gains, you're gonna have to expect exposure to risk and exposure to the rewards, because you'll see rewards along the way. Don't get me wrong on that, but you will also see risk along the way. You'll see a lot of drawdown, you'll see a lot of pullbacks, you'll see a lot of things happen in your particular investment that you just need to be mentally prepared for. So those are things to be mindful of in markets that are very volatile, and that's also your day trading tip of the week. If you guys want more tips and tricks about day trading and investing, make sure to click the link in the bio, www.continuebelief.com. I share a lot of free resources and tools, tips and tricks about how to day trade, how to get started investing, and so much more. So make sure you guys check out the link in the bio. Thank you guys so much. Make sure to leave a like and follow. And yeah, see you guys later. Should you buy Bitcoin? If you haven't already bought Bitcoin, I definitely think that it's worth waiting to see it come lower. In my opinion, I think Bitcoin can see a lower pullback down to about the 55K range. I would definitely recommend buying more there. It's currently sitting at 70,000, so a $15,000 drop from where it's at currently would be the best time to buy more if you haven't bought already, because we've been in a range from 60K to 70K for the last 2 months now. And so if you haven't bought some already, I don't think that it's worth buying, because I do think that it can go lower based off the technicals and how it's setting up to possibly push lower. But that being said, you definitely can still get some exposure here if you have not gotten exposure yet. I don't think that 70K is a horrible price. I just think that based upon how the technicals are setting up, I just personally feel like we can see a lower pullback in Bitcoin. So if you haven't bought already, I definitely think that it's worth waiting. But if you have already bought it, then just continue to hold and wait for the reversal to the upside. When that happens, I don't know, but I think that it's very possible to happen. And the next push higher that we can see in Bitcoin would be that 150 range, if not higher. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Bitcoin. We've been having a lot of turmoil and a lot of negative news around Iran and the war. And so that's made a lot of names like gold, silver, and other commodities pull back. And of course, the overall market had a sell-off going into the end of last week from Wednesday to Friday after the Fed meeting. So there's been a lot of news that's been moving the market. Bitcoin has been very stable in between 65 to 70K. So I think that it's preparing to possibly see a leg lower. I think if we get some more negative news, it could possibly affect it. But if not, then, don't hesitate to get exposure in these current prices. So those are my thoughts on Bitcoin. Comment below if you guys have any exposure on Bitcoin. Let me know if you guys have ever bought Bitcoin or not. I'm still in my position for Bitcoin, so I plan to hold for the long term. But I definitely would love to see it come lower to get it at an even lower discounted price. Can we see lower in the stock market? Today, as of today, I definitely did think we can see lower. And going into the end of today, I still think we can see lower. I think personally that the market doesn't see a push higher, meaning a break of new all-time highs, until we get a 10% pullback in the current market prices. And this is specifically for the S&P 500. So for SPY, if you trade SPY, if we get around 620 to 625, that would be my indicator to want to take possible positions to the upside. Depend upon everything that's going on, of course, the economy, the catalyst, and everything that's happening at that time, that would be my definitive factor in whether or not I think that we can see higher. I definitely think it won't. It will not see higher until then, until we reach a 10% drop or lower. But given where we're at right now, we still have potential to reverse and go back higher. As I mentioned, we had the news come out today about Trump and him delaying attacks on Iran. That drove a lot of buyers to the market and some positivity to the upside, but we're still holding critical levels of resistance that can possibly trigger more downside moves. So until we get confirming push back higher, then I think that is definitely likely that we can see lower still. Only things that I can think of that would indicate that we will not see lower is, as I mentioned, a break back above the critical levels of resistance, and then any news regarding the complete ending of this Iran war would also be some good news, because that's been the catalyst as of late. Oil prices going back down, and yeah, I think those would be the main two things that would really indicate that we're in the clear for possible moves higher. But even then, I still think that we've had about an 8% correction. So nothing too drastic or nothing too concerning to the point where, we're considering it to be a recession or depression or anything like that. But we definitely can see lower if these things hold up, which I mentioned, the resistance level and the Iran war, and just the overall catalyst of where the market's at right now. It's still an extreme, I don't think it's an extreme fear, but last time I checked, it wasn't a fearful market when it came to the fear and greed index. So that could also drive more selling as well. If some other news comes out down the road, whether it be the war or something else in total, that could also trigger more selling pressure. So that's my thoughts on whether or not I think we can see lower. But overall, you want to stay prepared and have a plan in place for these moments. You know, it's better to be prepared than to not be prepared. And it even says it in the Bible. Proverbs chapter 21, verse 5. The plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance, but everyone who is hasty only comes to poverty. You want to have a plan, and you want to be ahead of the game and prepared for these things to happen, because that's where the abundant results come from. Just like a basketball team going to the championships. They didn't just get to the championships. They practiced day in and day out, stayed ready, stayed healthy on their diets, stayed prepared for any opponent that they were going to face, and were able to overcome and execute very well each and every game. You want to treat investing just like that. You want to treat it like a game that you have to show up for each and every day. You have to look at the charts each and every day. You have to study the companies each and every day, and you have to understand where the economy is at each and every day, so you know what possible outcomes are possible, and that will help you be more well off in the future because of the necessary steps and actions you're taking today in order to see the results. So that's just some food for thought. Hopefully you guys pay attention to that and just be mindful of the endless opportunities there are in the market, but also be in a position to take advantage of these opportunities, because they're not opportunities if you're not able to take advantage of them. They're just something to talk about. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. This is the Rich Off Gains podcast, episode 20. It's your boy CB checking back in with y'all once again. I thank you all for watching or listening in wherever you are, whenever you are. Make sure to bookmark, leave a comment, show some support, some form and way. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you all for tuning in. I'll see you guys in the next one.